Hi everyone, happy Sunday. We're back again with our little, I don't know what you call it, folio or mini journal, whatever kind of paper contortion. And this is how far I've kind of got. This is the front, although I'm thinking now that we might need a bit of a cover on it. But anyway, that's for another day. And then when you open it up, this is what it will look like that. And it's going to have, in the middle here, between these two pages, a vellum pocket with a journaling card in. It's a nice page just with the tags in. It's quite a straightforward page and I like that. This is the page that we were working on yesterday. We didn't get to the end of it, but this is how far we did get. It's a bit like Blue Peter, this, isn't it? This is what we did yesterday. And I'd altered the pocket. This was the original one, and it was more like a tuck spot really than a pocket. So this one I've definitely made a pocket and brought it up to there. And someone, I can't remember who, was telling me that they'd made a mistake with the corners of the lace or whatever. Don't put your lace on until you've cut your pocket out properly. Because if you're trying to hold lace and cut your corners, etc., I think it would be too complicated. I wouldn't like to tackle it anyway. So, do your, whatever colour you're doing this in, get your corner pocket sorted out first and then put your lace over it. And then you can follow the exact template that you've created for your pocket. We also made the little tracing paper.
It was Martha.
It was Martha, was it? Well, I'm sorry you're struggling, Martha. I really am. It's horrible when you do something and it just doesn't work out right. But that's my advice to you. Do your corner pocket as you would for any other pocket that you're going to use. Then put your lace on top. And then it'll start to act just as one once you've got it glued down. So the other thing that we did was this little... well, actually, it's tracing paper pocket, but, it looks like vellum. And it's really, it turned out really pretty, actually. I like it. And at some stage, we need to put a little journaling card in there. This ribbon that I put on is kind of not square. Sorry about that. We're getting to the end of our live by that stage. And so the thing that I want to do first today is this little trifold jobby here, which also goes into our pocket. So let's make a start on that. I think I'm kind of organised today, and that's usually a precursor to everything going wrong. So watch this space. It has ribbon around it, wraps up with ribbon, which always looks pretty, I think. There are options that you can do. You could put a magnet in there if you wanted to, just to keep it shut. It actually doesn't fall open of its own volition anyway. You could put some Velcro down there if you wanted to. There are ways of keeping it shut apart from ribbon going round it. I just happen to like ribbon because I just love pretty. I just love pretty. So how do we make this then? Well, what we need first is a sheet of paper of the whatever it is you're using. I'm using chapter 1 papers on it from Etsy, and this is called Wildflower Moments, and I must say it's one of my favourite papers I think I've possibly ever worked on. I really, really love it. But that's mainly because I really love wildflowers. I just love them. And I have used throughout this quite a lot of die cuts they are Sizzix die cuts, Tim Holtz, called Wildflowers. Now, if you haven't got them, they do look nice, but if you haven't got them, don't give in at that stage. There's no need to. Get yourself to the charity shop, find a book on wildflowers. I'm sure I've got, what's this one? Oh, that's Mushrooms and Toadstools. Let's find a wildflowers one. I've got several dozen. Like this one, for example, and just fussy cut round them. And they will work out as well, if not better, than the dies, because they've got lots of colour in them. So, I mean, that's a little cutie there. this little buttercup here. But, you know, they're really not expensive. This one isn't for telling me how much it was, but I can't imagine that Mr. Fix-It paid more than a pound for it.
Yeah.
150?
It was 150. I think.
150.
They put them up slightly since they've been shut down.
Tuh.
They used to be £1 and now £1.50.
But you can say, I mean, how many are there in here? I mean, loads. And I appreciate that not everybody likes fussy cutting, but, you know, that's one way around that problem, if you like. So I'm just going to cut all the white edges off here that I can find, that I can see.
Would you do a roll call while you...
Yeah, please do a roll call.
Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Sammy.
Pat.
Green.
Hilda.
Helen. Lynn.
Oh, which Lynn?
Lynn Whitman.
Hi, Lynn Whitman.
Ros.
Hi, Ros.
Yes, Sammy, Flo.
Hiya, Flo.
Jonathan.
Hello, Janet.
Me.
Hello, you. Are you behaving yourself?
Jen, should I say?
Hi, Jen.
That's it, I think.
Excellent. Good turnout. Thank you so very, very much, as ever, for supporting me and supporting the channel. Somebody, and I think it was Pat, asked about the envelope template that I put up last night and could I put it in files. You can't put images in files. It's for text only. So if you look along the top, just under the header of the group, you will see there's one that says photos. If you look in there, you'll see it. Click on it, download it, right click on it, download it to your own photographs, and then you can manipulate it as you wish. So I think Diane was a bit stuck on that as well, but you know, that's what to do. Click on the photos and then it will take you there. So right, there we are. That's got rid of all that white. Now what we need to do is fold it into 3, obviously, because it's a trifold. But when I was doing this, my maths, I just couldn't work it out. So I cut mine at the existing one that I've done, that is to say. I cut it at, there we are, 10.5, which then meant I could have a 3.5 and another 3.5, that makes 7, then another 3.5, that makes 10.5, right? So that's what I did. I cut mine off at 10.5. So let's get the big ruler out. This is a big ruler as well, I tell you. I bought this ruler because it's 15 by 15, which is quite a nice size for making cushions. And I used to make a lot of cushions, so it was worth having a ruler for that. So I wanted it 10.5. Oops, I'm going to have to put this the other way around or count backwards, which is not good. So there's 10.5 there, and I'd quite like to get rid of that sort of dark edge on it. So if I come into there, I've still got enough to get 10.5. So I have taken note of the amount of very new people that we have on our group, and I know that a lot of the stuff that I do on the lives does assume some prior knowledge, which some people don't have, and then they get in a tangle and then they don't want to do it, think they can't do it, which is a tragedy. It really is, because it's anyone can. If I can do this, anybody can. But you do learn. You do need to learn how to. So I think that maybe one day through the week, it's more than likely going to be Wednesday, but you know, who knows, things come up in your way. But during the week, I will do a really, really basic starters video. It's probably going to be a live because that's just the way I work, but might be a video. And it's basically, I've downloaded these papers what do? We'll go from there right through to basic pockets and basic tuck spots, basic belly bands, basic tags, just so as you're not sitting looking at a load of paper thinking, well, that's very pretty. Where do I go from here? So I appreciate that a lot of you, that won't be of any help to you. I know that. But it will help some people. So help them get on this mad train of junk journals. So as I said to you, it's 3.5. So I'm just going to score that at 3.5. And I'm going to turn it round and score this one at 3.5. So there we are. Oh, and I also want to score up from the bottom, because we have pockets on the bottom, and I want to score up 2.25. Is that 2.25? Yeah, 2.25 inches. So I'll score that now while I'm here. So 2, 1, 2. Score along there. Right, so that should pretty much be all our scoring done. Right, so that's going to fold over there. And just before you really score it in for all its life, just make sure you're square along the bottom. And if you can, and you usually can, because the score line isn't an exact thing, it has got a bit of play either side to it. So really, it's good if you can just come short of that the other score line. If you can still see the other score line, you're doing well. Otherwise, they'll all catch. So yeah, that's pretty square. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to fold that in with my bone folder, really crease that in. And then let's do the same with the other side. So you want to fold it in, you've got your score line. Now then, this time it's coming just a little bit further than I want it to.
Gina's joined us.
Hi Gina.
Lynn Whitman says maybe we could
Regina, sorry.
Lynn Whitman says maybe we could send in some questions in and you could help with those.
Do it. Not saying I know the answers, but by all means, if you've got questions,
So that's a great idea for newbies, Fiona. Good on you.
Well, it's such a nice thing to do, isn't it? And it's such a shame that some people, I just know there will be some people. I mean, last night I put a post on our group about a really good offer that was on Etsy. And I know a lot of you jumped on it. And I can just imagine you looking at it thinking, well, that's really lovely and really cheap, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to take these papers and make them into something pretty. And actually, seeing as we're on the subject, I, of course, took advantage of that offer. Why wouldn't you? You'd be mad. And I've been through it 2, 3, 4 times, actually, trying to work out which papers we would select for our next topic, so as I could tell you which ones they are and you could have them printed out ready. And this is the one called Scottish Gardens in the Highlands. I have no idea what these people think we get up to in Scotland, but it's not all this prettiness, I can tell you. You're darned lucky if you can get thistles to grow. But this is a very pretty set of papers anyway, and I really like them. I think we can do quite a lot with them. I love these hydrangeas. I love the colours of them. I think there's 7 pages. So 7 pages. Then there's some envelopes. And then, what else have we got? Oh yeah, these sort of bookmarks, but they make nice side tucks. And page with what they call ATC cards, but they're shrunk down pages. And that's another one, and that's another one. So yeah, there's plenty there. I didn't print out the bobbin stuff, you know, the shape of the bobbin or any of that stuff, just the pages and the ATC envelopes, and that was it. So I have printed these out on white paper. It's 160 GSM, so it's about double the thickness of ordinary copy paper. And I do use quite a high quality paper, a one that's designed for graphics. So yeah, the paper isn't the cheapest in the world, but I do use for virtually all of my printing out a cheap Canon printer, and I use pretend inks, you know, not the branded inks, the third party inks, thank you, and they do well. They do fine for me. So we've got those. I've got them printed out. Once we've finished this nice project, this is what we'll be working on next. And actually, I have just been on eBay and I have ordered some plain satin ribbon in this sort of blue and a sort of amethyst colour, because I thought those would be the colours I'd be picking out. So that's you up to date with what's happening.
Donna says, that's beautiful paper. She brought way too many the other day for the retired collection. Have you looked at all of them, Fiona? Some are gorgeous.
I've looked at them many times, and in fact I've purchased quite a few.
Pat's lost her internet connection, so she's going to have to catch up later.
Fair enough, Pat.
And Maureen Smith says she's just finished downloading those. A lovely bargain, thank you for the heads up.
You're welcome.
And Ros bought them too.
That's why I feel pretty safe in saying this is what we'll be using next, because I know a lot of you did buy that. I'm not sure if on their sister site called Journalpaperie, this set isn't available to buy separately. So you might not have to invest the £7 or whatever it was. Just have a look on the Journalpaperie. This is called Scottish Gardens of the Highlands. So if you see that set on Journalpaperie, it might be worth getting it, because they're only about 50-60p or something on there each set. Anyway, right, look. We're running behind before we run anywhere. So I've folded those in, and I've got just a little bit of clearance on each side, but nothing major. That is a very tight little bit of clearance. If it comes that it's not, you know, that's folding over, so I'm happy with that. Right at the bottom, we've got this that folds up. That's going to be our pocket. Now, before you crease that in, make sure that your crease marks line up. The pocket lines up with that, and then just crease that in, like so. Now, we want two that come one way, the pockets I'm talking about, one that goes the other. So in order to achieve that, what you do is cut just marginally to the right of that crease line. Doesn't have to be much. Right up to the crease line there, and then the other side of the crease line. Right up to where you've bent it over. And then you just take that little bit and you cut it off. And do the same on the other side. Just to the right and then just to the left. So there we are. So that then means that we can bend it without it. You'd have too much bulk there if you didn't cut that. And also, we want one to come forward and the others to go backwards, which you couldn't do if you didn't cut, could you? So, right. So is everybody following so far? We've scored along the bottom, we've cut out between them with a little gap, look, you can see, and one folds that way and these two fold this way. Right. So this is now, actually I kind of like that better, I think. I'm going to fold it the other way. It's that blooming origami, this one, isn't it? Right, okay, that's it. That's fine.
Donna said she managed to purchase a laser printer from the marketplace for $40.
Wow, well done.
Brand new.
Oh,
Happy
brilliant.
Dance.
Yeah, absolutely happy dance. I mean, we have a laser printer and I use it, as you know, for printing our own decoupage out, that sort of thing. But I I do print out a lot of papers. I do. And I just find it's cheaper to print it out on the Canon. And yeah, okay. Where am I? Right, let's have a look at this one, see what's going on. I obviously can't talk. Right, so that one goes that way. That one goes that way because I want that to be this middle section here. And that one goes that way. Right, okay. So the sticky out bit, this pocket, is in the front, in the middle. Right. Now then, the next thing that happens is this corner here folds over. Now just take it about, as Mr. Fix-It would say, Nat's Nadger, and I don't wish to offend anyone. I don't really know what a Nat's Nadger is, but it means a tiny amount. And just fold that just off that crease line that we put in. And crease that in, like so. And on this side, it goes the other way. So it's the same thing, just the smallest amount away from that crease line. And bring it down like that. So you see there's not much gap there between the pocket and this part, but that's fine because you can still get your tag into there. It'll be absolutely fine. And this bit will wrap over there, that bit will wrap over there, and yeah, that's fine. We're making progress. I do think that a lot to do with junk journaling, is contorting your brain to see what it is and measuring stuff. An awful lot of it is like that. So this pocket now can get stuck down. So I'm just going to run my glue just up the edge of the pocket. And it's easier to run it up the edge of the pocket than on this page because then you know where your pocket ends, obviously. So that's that. You fold that up and in and press it down. You might get a little bit extra glue out, just rub it away if you do. And now you see where we cut our bits off, we've still got, they're only tiny, but for the sake of completeness, let's take those off. Right, so that's then, it's waiting for a tag to go in it. That's all right, it's taking no hurt. This here, I haven't on my original one, but I am on this one going to glue that down because on this one it keeps catching, and I actually ended up having to cut off a fair bit there. That's the crease line, so I'll cut that much off. But it's not serving any purpose, so I'm actually going to glue it down. You could make it serve a purpose if you wanted to. You could make it a tuck spot, but I don't. On this occasion, I don't want to. So just fold that over, and then it won't get caught on the opening side. There we are. Press that down. Right, so let's turn it over. Let's turn this one over as well because I'm kind of following that as a pattern. And on this side we add some paper. I'll show you what we've done on the original so you know where we're heading for. Like this. And as I said to you yesterday, I do not know what came into my head that I made this yellow, but I did. So there you are. We're stuck with it in yellow. But this time I have actually made pink.
It's a visual surprise.
It's a visual surprise, yes. So that will fit into there. It'll get folded over like that. And then you've got a little bit of journaling space. Not sure how accurate that crease is actually. Fortunately I cut two because I could foresee a problem. So that's that, and I'm just slightly out there, slightly. So let's just cut that straight.
Lynn says these pockets are some great ingenuity. How did you come up with it?
Well, for a while they were everywhere. About 6 months or a year ago, everybody was making. I think the first person I saw make one was Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah, and she made hers like a like it was all like a, I don't know how do you describe it, like a dinner suit, a DJ. This was sort of black with white down there, and it looked like a jacket, like someone wearing a jacket. And I've seen loads of people make them since. Loads. They're very popular things to make, and everybody seems to just put their own little slant on it to make it just slightly different. So of course it organically just grows, really. So I'm just going to put some glue on here. This is Aileen's tacky glue, because it's paper to paper and it's perfectly fine, and it preserves my Fabri-Tac. So this is just providing some journaling space, because don't forget, really, the sole purpose of a journal should be that people can journal in it. We are just creating fancy ways for people to write notes. Okay, that's kind of the bottom deal of it. We are creating fancy ways for people to write notes. Notes that they sometimes didn't even know they needed to make. So there we are, we've got this little bit of journaling space in there. That's folded down, it's stuck down, and that should be that, really. It should stay there and be fine. So this comes up like that, and then it gets decorated. So let's stick that down. No, sometimes I have ingenious ideas of my own. Mostly, actually, most everything that I do is mine in some way, you know. But that might be because you've seen 4 or 5 or 6 different people make something, and you think, oh, well, if I took that from that, and that from that, and that from that, you know, I could end up with something else. So, wet wipe. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, there are only so many ways to fold blooming paper. It's got a bit of glue on there, so I don't really want that. Right, so decorate this pocket. We'll glue this one up as well, because the pockets are decorated fairly similarly. In fact, they are similar. So similar, they are the same. So there we are, just squash it down. That will tack up and be secure. Right, so what I did, now look at this, guys, I've got things cut in preparation. Come on. When has that ever happened before? Right, so that's because I'm using all the same paper, and I haven't introduced any other paper at all to this, just the chapter 1 papers, Wildflower Moments. I can't suddenly introduce another piece of paper here from a different set, because it just wouldn't look right. So I've opted to use plain pink card it is, but plain pink paper would do. And anybody that used to make cards, I'm sure you have plenty of this cardstock hanging around, and they just go there like that. Well, they get glued on. But first I'm just going to ink grind them, just lightly. Well, unless you want a grungy sort of look. So I'm just going to put a bit of ink grind around them, just so they stand out a little bit more from the background, that's all. That's that one. And you can sort of work out your own measurements, if you like, from what you've cut, you know, what you've used as your base, but just for an idea, this measures 2 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches, just over 1 3/4 inches. I'm sorry, you guys that work in centimetres, I just don't. Sorry. It's just it's a totally meaningless measure to me. I don't understand it. So yeah, I am getting to the stage where I'm thinking this is going to need some sort of cover on it. Oh, thank you, my love. Here comes the coffee.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to put this over to the left side and closer to the bottom. And straight, if you can get it straight, it's always a help. So yeah, there. So it's closer here than it is here. But I do want it sort of straight along the bottom. And slightly nearer the bottom than the top. Let's press that down. Same with this one. Well, we went to make a chili con carne before. Well, I say we. That is not true. I was actually looking at papers on Etsy at the time. Mr. Fix-It went to get tea started so as we could have it without having, once I finish a Sunday live, I just like to kind of relax a bit. So we like to have tea sort of done so we don't have to worry about it. And we decided we'd put a big chili on. And that was always going well until we realised we didn't have a chili sauce at all. So Mr. F's looked it up on the internet, discovered that what goes into it is cumin, paprika and some chili, dried chili stuff. So all that's gone into it. We have no idea of how much you're supposed to add into it. So it could be any amount.
We're freestyling.
We're freestyling our chili. So it's either going to be take your mouth off or chili, really. It'll be one or the other. So I'm just going to build up a little sort of collage here. I'm going to use some gauze on the bottom.
We have some Tabasco for the latter option.
Yeah, we have Tabasco.
There's not much you can do about the first.
Yeah, if it all goes horribly wrong and it doesn't taste chili-ish at all, we'll just shove some Tabasco in it. The first option is more like, quick, buy some yoghurt.
Put a rotor on the bathroom door.
So we'll see how that turns out. Anyway, if you never see me again, it's because I literally got my head blown off. So that's going to go on first. And I think I can just really stick those on. So I'm going to use fabric tack for that. I've had my glue bottles replenished this morning, so I'm full of glue. So try and make it sort of random.
Lynn Whitman says, let her know how it turns out.
I will. I will then. Having said that, as I say, if you don't hear from me, it's because death happened. Death by a red hot chili.
Maureen says these would make very nice little Happy Mail items.
I think exactly that. Was that Maureen?
Yes.
Yes, Maureen. In fact, this was kind of how this whole project started. I was looking for something that people could make for Happy Mail. And I thought this exact thing here was just lovely. And then, of course, having made that, then I had to make a pocket to put it in. Then before you knew it, it turned into a whole big drama. But that was why it started, because, yes, I really agree. I think, especially when it's tied up with the ribbon, I think it would really make, a nice birthday present for someone, or a rack or something like that. So this is just a bit of text. I just tore it out of the papers that we're using. Because it goes, of course it goes, because it's part of it. I'm just inking around it. There's not a great deal of inking going on in this journal, and I've told you before, but I'm using antique linen. Usually I use tea dye, vintage photo, on occasions walnut stain, which is very dark. But this is kind of the lightest of all of the browns. I think worn paper, old paper, antique paper, whatever it is a bit lighter than that. And I will look into getting that actually, because I like the lightness of the whole thing. Right, I've also put down a little bit of doily into this thing. So that sort of goes there. I mean, there's no right and wrong to building these little snippet collages. Use what you've got, basically, and what you think looks nice. So I'll stick my doily down. I'm not inking it up. I like the whiteness of it. I'm taking my shaky tablets, can you tell? Oh dear. I think it's adrenaline, actually, as much as anything. I think I get so excited. Oh dear. Right, so we've got that down there. The next thing is the text. I think
Lynn says almost like making a cluster.
It is. It absolutely is. You've got it right, for sure. So that's just going to go there, see? Yeah, it's just a cluster. It's just, we're just building it on a pocket.
Layered collage.
Yeah, layered collage. Get Mr. F, eh? He's been reading books again. Gotta watch him with those books. There we go. And what did I put on next? I put on a little bit of ribbon, actually. A little bit of this satin pink ribbon, which, you know, I'm always telling you don't throw your ends of stuff away. And at the moment I can't see any end, so I have to cut it off my roll. And I'm just going to put it coming with a pointed end coming across that there, so it sort of brings everything together. You might, you know, make this your own. You don't have to, I mean, you can if you want to, of course you can copy mine. That's kind of the idea, but if you've got bright ideas of your own, do that. So I hope you all had a pleasant evening yesterday, or rest of your day, or whatever it was. We've got a cricket test series on at the moment, test match series at the moment, which we love. We really love our cricket, and we've missed it during lockdown. So it's back on, so full attention goes to that. So here I'm just going to stick these, and I just think they're so cute. These little toadstooly mushroomy things, whatever they are, I'm not sure. Just going to move them along a little bit because I also want to put 2 butterflies on.
Corinne says she loves all the special touches you add and the way you put them together.
Thank you.
Hilda says gorgeous. And Helen says old paper distress ink is a light green.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, I didn't realise that. So is antique linen, is this one, is that the lightest of the sort of browny tones? Good job I didn't order that, isn't it?
We got the walnut one the other day.
Yeah, it's the darkest of the browns, the walnut, really.
Yeah.
Walnut stain. So
Flo says she's been dropping out because the kids decided to come for the weekend and they're in the middle of a heat wave.
Oh dear, we certainly aren't. Right, so on this one, I put my little Tim Holtz Field Notes die cut behind the butterfly there, and it was fine, you could still see it. But with these toadstools, I think I'm just going to move it across to there, so you get the full hit of the toadstool and the butterfly.
Candice has joined us.
Hello Candice, you're late.
She said she rushed out yesterday because she'd been crafting with a friend through lockdown, and it has carried on.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. So I'm just going to pop that at the end where the ribbon ends there, like that. These little die cuts that I'm using, they're Tim Holtz die cuts called Field Notes. The lovely Hilda bought them for me from my wish list on Amazon, and I've really found them so useful, because I can tell you I don't mind fussy cutting, but there is no way I am fussy cutting something that small. It's not happening. So that's going to go there, but it's going to get some ribbon on first. But this one, however, can get stuck down. I'm just going to stick it just so his wings are just inside the actual proper edge of the thing where we folded it. Not just the pink.
Jen says, was that a little bling I see?
A little bling is coming up, like right now. So hold your horses. So I'm just going around this butterfly, same as ever, just because I don't want to see that white.
Ellen says, the antique linen is lighter. When she sends a collaborative page, she'll send you a swatch with it on.
Oh, thank you. That's very useful, isn't it? That is very useful.
Yeah, because sometimes the descriptions on those inks can be a bit misleading.
Yeah, it can. So this butterfly is going to go on here. Yeah, and you know, pictures are only as good as your monitor, really, aren't they? You know, you buy something and you think it's yellow and it comes and it's not. So let's pop him there. As I say, just his wings just inside the border of the whole thing, not just the pink bit, but the whole thing. Make sure he's stuck on nicely.
Certainly with your Halco marker pens and things like that, we've made swatches, haven't we? Because
I've made complete swatch of everything that I've got.
Because the colours don't necessarily match what's inside.
No, the colours on the lid are often way off, especially blues and greens, I find. So, yes, Jen, here comes a little bit of bling. There's not much bling in this. You could probably bling it up a bit more. So I'm just using these crystals, and I need one for this fella here, and I'm just going to lay one out for this one when we get round to doing it. You could put 2 crystals on if you wanted to. I don't like to. I think that's dressing him up too much. And E6000, that's the glue that you need for this. It's best not to try it with anything else, because you'll only end up with disappointment when it drops off. I hope you can see that glistening away there. They're real crystal, they're not just glass. So you need the tiniest wee drop of that. And shut him up. And I've got this tool that's sort of sticky, if you like. I can just place it onto there. Don't press it down, doesn't need it, it'll stick itself. And if you were here, Jen, you would really approve of this, because it's very, very twinkly. Twinkling away there. Right, so let's just turn that over. So this brings us to this side now, and this has got lace on it, some lacy trim. Use whatever you've got to hand. This is what I've got to hand, so this is what I'm using, and it goes down the front there, and then it goes along the top of the pocket, which is why I'm holding off putting the butterfly on that side, because I'd quite like it to come up over the lace if possible. I don't know, it might not. So let's just cut a piece of that off that's about the right length. This has got double-sided tape on it, but once again, I don't trust it. I don't trust anything like this that's already taped up. It's probably good enough for a while, but I'm not sure that it's good enough forever. So I'm just going to take it off. Blimey, it's sticky. I will say that. Oh, come on. And I'm just going to put a bit of glue just down there, just to reinforce that double-sided tape that's on it already. Like that. And pop that on along the edge. Like so. Stick it down nicely and just trim off your ends. Has everybody been quiet today?
No, people commenting.
Oh, what are they saying?
Ooh, Donna was wanting to know how much acetone I put in the Fabritech. It's about 8 to 1. But you must use acetone with the Fabritech and the 3-in-1.
Yeah.
You can use water in the Aleen's.
You must use water in the Aleen's. Don't try and put acetone in Aleen's.
Oh, no, just go to glue. And it's about the same ratio.
So that's that. So along the top of this pocket, this one here, we need another piece of lace.
Flo was saying that there are wildflower fussy cut packages on Etsy, but she can't remember who offered them. But they were pretty easy to cut.
Ah, right. I'll have a look. Why do I need to look? Why do I need to? I've got books full, but I will still look. Thanks, Flo. So again, just take the backing off, put some glue on. Just a bit of belt and braces going on here, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Come on. Oh, come on. And that just goes along there. Don't go over the top of the pocket, obviously, because then you'll seal it shut. So that's that. That's lovely. Let's trim off any excess that you have. Have to trim it that way. Yikes, I nearly trimmed through the card there.
Lynn was just saying that's exactly the sort of info that the newbies need to know.
About the glue and the double-sided?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust nothing. Trust nothing or no one. My gauze is going a bit. That's it. Right, so that's where we're up to. That should be okay. Yeah, that little gem's still stuck there, so that's fine. Now we can stick this butterfly on. So just de-white him. I do try and help the newbies, but sometimes, you know, you get in a bit of a flap yourself. Things aren't working very well or whatever it may be. And you just sort of get into the just doing kind of stage. So, yeah, I could have got away with putting that lace on first anyway. I'm going to put that there, I think. And I'm going to bring it in a little bit, as I don't like. Yeah, there. That's where he's going to go. So we'll stick him down. Making good progress with this today, I think. What time is it? Oh my goodness.
It is...
I thought I'd been on about 15 minutes. It's ridiculous how quickly time goes. So pop him on in his place there. Don't want to obscure that fungi too much. I have a desire at some stage to do a mushroom and toadstool book, because they're fascinating things, aren't they? So Jen, here comes the little bit of bling. Oh, I left one out, didn't I? Yeah, there it is. More organised than I thought it was, you see. So that's going to go on there. Just get it faced the right way up, that's it. So with a tube of this size, I don't even have to squeeze it. I just turn it upside down and gravity does more than enough. And it's got a little pin that fits in there so you can't seize it up. And just drop that in position like that. Right, okay. Fair enough, we're coming along. I think I've finished with them. I don't think there's any more. Pop them back. Back where they belong, goodness. It's unusual for me. Right, so on the front we've got a journaling card, which is this one here, is it? Yeah, that looks like that. And then on that side we've got another journaling card. Right, so I've got two journaling cards here. I can see where they go, so we're all doing all right. Could you pass me a sheet of white paper if you can, please?
Maureen says that if you haven't got much lace, she uses a border punch and uses that as a decorative edge.
Yeah,
It helps to use the small strips of paper as well.
yeah, absolutely. That's a lovely idea. I don't have border punches. Well, I have one. Thank you very much. I have one, but it's the one that you thread the lace through after you've done it. And I don't, it's not every time that you want to be putting lace on. I'm just looking for...
There are some very nice border punches.
Oh, absolutely. No, I look at them very enviously.
And you can get border dies as well, can't you, for the Sizzix?
Yeah, you can. Well, I've got the crochet one that I used on one of these here. This down here is a Sizzix crochet die. It's lovely. It's so pretty. So I'm just backing these journaling cards. I'm using, glue stick. It's adequate for the job. And I'm just putting it onto white paper because everything we've got is white. If you're doing a shabby journal, consider coffee staining your paper. There is a video on our channel that Mr. Fixit did about coffee staining paper. It'll take you through all you wanted to know about coffee staining and more, I'm sure.
Plenty that you probably didn't want
Plenty
to know.
that you didn't even ever need to know, but it's interesting, I think. So if you want to know how to do that, have a look for that video on our channel. But as I say, I'm using white because the theme of the journal is white. Yesterday I said I was running out of double-sided sticky tape because my thing was like looking really sad. Well, look at this. Yeah, I've got plenty.
Michelle's joined us. She says hi, everybody.
Hi, Michelle. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining.
That journal should be getting there next week, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so. Pretty soon.
Just to let you know we haven't forgotten.
No, we haven't forgotten. It's just that the postage takes quite a while to get across the pond. I don't know how it takes so long, to be honest. So this is the white paper that I print onto. It's probably a bit excessive actually for backing your tags with it, if I'm honest with you. So I always cut my tag out first, then I stick it onto whatever I'm backing it with, then I cut around the tag, because you've got that line that you can go to, and it just makes it, it's a sort of ridge, where the tag ends. You can just get your scissors in that ridge. It makes it a bit easier to cut. I don't like ever cutting both of them before I stick them together. My cutting's obviously not that accurate because whenever I do that, it's a bit short here and a bit long there, and you know, so I'd rather just cut my tag out, stick it on, and then cut the backing, surplus backing off like that. Right, so I'm going to ink around those, not very heavily, but a little bit. And this thing that I'm using to ink with, I bought from AliExpress. I think they're down as makeup sponges. They are brilliant for inking things. They don't last forever. This one's just beginning to break up a bit now, but I've done several projects with it. You know, it's had a lot of use and it's fared very well, and they're really cheap. The only thing I would say is, you know, like everything from Ali, be prepared to have a bit of a wait for it. Some things surprise you and arrive really quickly, but generally it's a little while. So think in advance of the projects that you think you're going to do, and order the stuff that you want. Right, so that just literally goes into that pocket, and it holds that flap down. As you can see, that's what happens there. And this one does the same. It goes into there like that. But this side hasn't got the lace on, so it looks a little bit, shall I say, dowdy? It doesn't look dowdy, it's just, you know, slightly plainer. I'll say that, it's slightly plainer. So if I had any die cuts, which I obviously didn't leave out, I thought I'd left die cuts for every blinking project, but obviously not. So never mind, don't worry, I'll get my boxes of die cuts out.
Tub of wonder.
Eh?
Tub of wonder.
Tub of wonderment. Sometimes it's just nice, you're just in the mood to go die cutting. And when you are, just do it. Let it happen. Because then you've got them for when you need them. So I'm going to go sort of pink, I think. Pink's the overriding thing here, so let's just go with the pink. I think on the original one that I did, I put a little blue one in, which looks quite nice. But I think I might just go pink. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty, doesn't it? I haven't got any blue anyway, even if... Oh, I've got this nice green now. That's nice. That's a nice light green. I like that. So if I put that in there, like that, chop that off. Yeah, that's what's going to happen, guys. That's what's occurring here. As I say, don't give up at this stage and say, I haven't got dies, I can't do this. Just fussy cut yourself something. Can I just mention at this stage the collaborative journal that we've got going on at the moment? The pages have got to be in by the 14th of August, please. The theme is butterflies and birds, and it can be anything as long as it includes either a butterfly or a bird, at least one. It can be many. Oh, thanks, I don't want you to stick there. And it's for... I really didn't want it to do that. 4 pages, like a piece of A4 or US letter, or 11 by 8.5, whatever it is that you use that is your normal copy size. That's the size that we want. I don't want this coming out over the top of that pocket because that would just be silly. I'm going to cut it there. So yeah, whatever your normal size that you use for copying, that's the size that I want, please. And I would like it if you could make it like that, for example. So you've got one side there, one side there, one side there, and one side there, and then it'll go into a journal. and it will go into our collaborative journal, and then we will make a draw for everybody who's contributed to the journal, and somebody will get to keep it forever, which is a lovely thing, I think.
Candice says you need to put your die cuts in a safe place. She cut out 12 flowers yesterday for a garden journal and she can't find them now. We've all been there.
A million times. It's true, it just happens. I mean, there's obviously some sort of perverted person or spectre of some sort that goes around pinching die cuts. I mean, what do they get out of it? What are they doing? What are they doing with them all? Are they making some sort of fantastically large junk journal somewhere that we know nothing about?
There's some secret place and they hang out with all the lost socks.
I was just going to say, I bet he's related to the sock thief.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The sock thief and the die cut snatcher.
Yeah. They're a right pair.
Right pair.
So I've just got a bit of extra glue going on there that I don't really want. However, it will dry. And I've also got this nice little bit that was left over from when I cut that out, so I could just bring that over there a little bit. Or I could bring it there. Yeah, probably there. I don't want that thick bit at the bottom of its stem. So I'll do that a favour. Is everybody revelling in the fact that they can get their hair cut again? It's been awful when you can't get out to get your hair done. Well, you can. Maybe you are allowed to get out, but the hairdressers are closed.
Mine's been open.
Yes, yours has been open. Your blinking whizzy whiz, whatever you call it.
Hair clippers?
Hair clippers, yeah, that's the one. Right, so that's fine. Look at that, I've just found that now, and I'm surmising that was the lost pink die cut. Oh well, too late, mate. Too late.
Too late to the party.
Yeah. Right, so what happens now is we need something on the inside of here, because otherwise it looks a bit dull. That goes in there, but I don't want to put that in there while there's still a bit of wet glue, because you know what will happen. It'll just get shut. On the back of here, I haven't put anything, and it's quite white. So what I'm planning on doing is just using a stamp. This stamp, and I'm using black stays on. I wouldn't recommend black stays on for this. I would recommend some sort of brown archival ink. I just haven't got it to hand at the moment, so it's going to be black, but just a little bit like that, and I'll maybe even get away with a little bit there. That's fine. It's just something to take the plainness off them.
Deborah says she can never find anything. She's like to say it's her age, but she's misplaced things all her life.
I think junk journaling just kind of elicits that sort of behaviour. You know, when I see people like on doing lives and all this stuff is all nicely arranged. No, it's not happening in our house. So I'm going to put these bits of pink here on the back of where the pockets are on the front. Okay, and they're going to serve as a sort of little side tuck. And I'm just going to ink around them first.
And Maureen says she was stamping the other day. She put a butterfly on her table. She looked for it for a few minutes later and it had gone.
Yeah.
She hadn't moved from the table, but it's still gone. She just still doesn't know where it is.
Well, I do. It's the snatcher.
The snatcher? The craft snatcher?
The craft snatcher. It's not on. It's really not. We're going to have a protest or something against him. And they're going to go there in that sort of place. So let's stick them on just around 3 edges, because it's going to be a little tuck spot, as I say. So we need to leave one edge, one side open so we can tuck things in. Like so. Let's pop that down. Probably slightly more centrally than we did the other pocket. Centrally as up and down. Bit of glue, errant glue. There we go. Anyway, that's fine. And same with this one.
Deborah says she loses a phone daily. And Candy says, don't say that. I can lose stuff from my mini albums and card making. Don't say I'm going to lose things when I make my first junk journal.
Oh, there is no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt. They just vanish off the face of the earth. You stand up, you look under you, you look around you, you check your clothes in case it's stuck on them somewhere. Move everything 100 times on the table. No, it's gone. Whatever it was, it's simply gone. And then I'll start creating, oh, where is it? I just had it a minute ago. And Mr. F, who's totally fed up of me hearing me thumping things around, it's all right, I'll look for it. So he comes up and looks for it, and it's honestly gone.
Not all the time. Sometimes it's honestly there under your nose.
Yeah, sometimes it is. I just want to say thank you again to Kerry. I said thank you to her yesterday, but I have this right in my eyeline and I love looking at it. It's a gorgeous little card that she sent me with a rack and her collaborative journal page. So thank you very much for that, Kerry. It cheers me up every day. Right, so we are going to make our two little things that go in there. And I'm going to have to cut a bit off the bottom of each of them because they're just a bit too long. I can't cut a bit off the top because it's got that reinforcement, the picture of the reinforcement. So I'm just going to back them. They are not embossed or anything like that. They're just straight up. I'm going to cut the bottoms off first. Printed on tracing paper. That's all that was. So I'm just going to cut something like, I don't know what that is, a good 1/4 of an inch. Let's try that and see where we get to.
Jen thinks that I do it. She thinks I'm the snatcher. I've been called many a thing.
But not a journal snatcher.
No.
It could be, Jen. I'm being serious with you here. It could be.
I'll just change my name to the Crafty Snatcher.
With all the best of everything, it could have rude connotations. And I don't like rudeness on my page. But you could, yes, you could change your name to that. So I'm just going to cut that off at the same sort of place. Right, so I'm going to stick these down onto this white paper, but actually I'm going to put the glue just inside the line of the outside. This has got additional stuff on it, but I'm just going to glue just inside the line of the tag. And I don't want to use Aleen's either, because you can see it really clearly. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac, because once it dries it's not quite so visible. So you really just need a really thin bead of this. It's only sticking down a piece of tracing paper to a piece of paper. It's not kind of holding up a bridge or anything. It's to fix it's got up for a look out the window. Things must be bad. So pop that down and it'll stick around the edges. You don't want any more glue on this than you absolutely have to have, because it becomes visible and then it looks clumsy and then it doesn't look, professional in any way. So take your time with the glue situation. Just a little bit around the edges is fine.
Helen says she went to the works this morning to look for the paper pad that Carrie
Oh, yeah,
sent
yeah.
me. She couldn't find it, but she didn't come away empty-handed.
I'm sorry you couldn't find that exact one, because boy, oh boy, is it pretty. And I really know that it's going to feature in Alive at some stage. You just have to use whatever it was you came away with. I didn't even know the works did paper pads, so thank you everybody for telling me about that. Like I say, really short ways to spend my money. So give that a good press down. Heat of your hand works wonders. And we'll just cut those out.
The works is one of those places that doesn't have stock items, though, does it? They just tend to have what they have.
They have what they have, yeah. And if you're lucky enough to get there on the right day, you could get lots of stuff. I always seem to manage to find quite a bit of stuff at the works. But we haven't got a work... Well, we have got a works, haven't we, in Carlisle?
There's one in Carlisle, there's one in Penrith, and there's one in Gretna.
Yeah, the one at Gretna is an outlet one, Gretna Green. It's part of like an outlet village type thing. So they have less choice, but what they do have is cheaper. The one in Carlisle, you can't park anywhere close to that, so that's out.
That leaves Penrith.
Which leaves Penrith, yeah. Which is always a nice day out, actually, because we sort of go, up and over the mountains. Or nearly mountain, actually, it is. So it's a nice day, take a picnic, take some stuff for the dog, because he loves picnics. And usually when we go to Penrith, we make a nice day out of it. So that's that. That's all cut and sorted, I believe. So they're just going to tuck in there into the sides. Please tell me you want to fit. No, I'm going to have to just trim that down a little bit. I'm going to trim it down here. And I can't just do it to one side. I'm going to have to do it to both. It is just really a sliver that I'm taking off here. And that wants to go in now, so that's fine.
Sammy says she's had some lovely pads from the works. They do 6x6 and 12x12.
Really? That one that Lynn sent me was, I don't know, I'm guessing. I'll have a look at it in a minute. It wasn't any of those. It wasn't square.
It was A5.
No, it's bigger than A5, I think. So they fit in there now. Let's have a look. Here it is. It is 15 by 21. What does that mean to anybody? But that's the size of it there. Oh, just look at it. It's so beautiful. I'll measure it on my thing.
6x8.
It's 6, nearly 6. I've got to do this now, despite the fact. By, yeah, 8.5. So I don't know what that equates to actually, but that's the measurements of it. It's a good handy measurement. Right, so I've got those in there now. I'm actually going to have to ink them because I had to cut that side, the sliver off the side and the bottom. So I'll just give them a bit of an ink. If you're inking, be consistent with it. Ink everything. If you're not inking, be consistent and ink nothing. A bit of consistency throughout the journal really adds to the overall cohesiveness of it, of course. So that's that one. Well, I'm carrying on after I've finished this. I'm telling you. So if you think you're getting out of it that easy, you're not. We've got to get this finished at some stage. Right, so there we are. I'll put them right up close to each other, get my stamp and my ink. Ink it up. Make sure they're really close together, and I'm just going for the middle. Like that. There we are. That'll do.
Jen says, don't forget, she glues it down and then forgets to ink it.
Oh, Jen.
You have to peel it off and do it.
Or you get the glue on and then think, oh, I haven't inked it. So you've got this thing that's like all floppy because it's got glue on it. And, oh, yeah, I know. We've all been there. Tell me somebody that hasn't done that. Nobody. That's who. I can't believe you don't want to fit in now. You wanted to fit in a minute ago, so don't be awkward. Right, so we've got those in there. They come up just, you know, short of the fold line that we had. They need a little bit, these need a little bit of decoration on them. I can't remember if I laid out the decoration or not. I think not. So let's get my little field note out. Just need some little, something little. Nothing that's going to take over. Oh, that's nice. That bee's nice, isn't it? I like that. And something for the other side. Oh, I've got more toadstools. I'm quite toadstooly phase. Yeah, what about that? That's nice. I like that. That was easy. Put a little bit of gauze behind that just so it doesn't look quite so stark. So I am really cutting a teeny tiny bit and just pull it out so it looks quite random. A bit of Fabri-Tac. Glue that down as best you can. Whoa, stay down. That's it.
Jim wants to know, was that all of the Timolts?
Pretty much. Pretty much. But let me just glue this down and I'll, I mean there are loads. I'm just going to stick that on there. It's at quite a jaunty angle, but I quite like it. I mean, there are loads. There's some big ones, medium-sized, butterflies, flowers, paravillon, little ones that you can cut out or use like that. Stick some numbers on it, be fine. There's loads, loads and loads. I think I'm not doing... Oh, look at that. I'm going to put that there instead of the bee. And I'm going to reserve the bee for when I need a bee. Butterflies, little stamps. I can't speak highly enough of this. I really love it, actually. It's just there. Because, you know, if you've done things yourself... Ooh, look at that. Look at that big toadstool. You know, if you've done things yourself, they're all of an ilk, aren't they? Because they're what you've chosen. Whereas this, I haven't chosen them, so I've got different things in there. If you know what I mean, if you might be talking rubbish. So this, I'm just going to put a bit of Fabri-Tac down for our gauze. Just softens it up a little bit. Makes it not quite so stark. There we are. And stick this on. We're getting there, guys. We've still got the tag to make yet.
Maureen says, to be or not to be?
Well, not to be on this occasion, I think. Because I just know there will be an occasion where I need a bee. And I'll think, oh, why did I use that bee when I need it here? So seeing as we've used mushrooms and toadstools before, I think we can get away with that quite nicely. That looks quite nice actually. Right, so that's kind of the inside. We've done the outside. We can put our journaling cards in now, which will hold this down, which has got our journaling paper in. You know, in my naivety, I actually thought we were going to manage to do that whole pocket page in one go yesterday. Can't believe it. What planet am I on? And that goes in there, and you can still see our nice die cuts there. So that's the way that's going to fold, like that. The only thing we need now is our big central tag. So I have already got some bits out for it. I mean, this is kind of organised for me, guys, really, if I'm honest. This is what it's going to look like. Well, I've got a different image. But for the self-same reason that I've used pink here as a contrast paper, I've used pink as the back for our, and I've done it through various things on this folio. So that's the size of the journal tag that it was before I cut it down to this. I've got glue in my fingers and it's driving me batty because it's got gauze stuck in it. So I literally cut round the size of the journaling card, that was it. Then I cut the journaling card out and I cut it down like that. So as you can see, a pink border all the way around it, and it just sets it off. It's just noticeable that that's there. So the next thing we need to do is stick one to the other. You can use glue stick for this. You will notice that I'm not doing any sewing whatsoever in this. And that's not like me. I do like to sew, as you know, but I genuinely think it would just have taken us till Christmas to finish it. You know, we'd still be doing this when we're blinking, pushing up daisies. So try and get that pretty central. Oops. From the start. This piece has got forget-me-nots on, which I think are perhaps my favourite of all flowers. I love forget-me-nots. Well, that's not very straight at the bottom, is it? I can't live with that, I'm afraid. So just straighten that up a little. That's better. So there we are, we've got that onto there. And I didn't ink it, Jen. What were you talking about, woman? You've made me forget to ink it. But it's fine, you know, it's white and it looks nice against there, and I love these butterflies. Excuse me. So the next thing to do is make a hole in your ringlet. There we go. And take some, this is just, you know, the white crochet lace that you get that's quite cheap. And I'm just going to thread that through there with the help of that. Make sure that you've got it sort of sitting straight, like so. There we are. So hold that, and then you get a bit of whatever ribbon you've got that kind of fits the bill, that's a little bit thicker than the normal 1/4 inch satin ribbon that we use. If you haven't got anything else, satin ribbon will do fine. But all I had was this gingham, and I did hum and ha about it, but actually I quite like it once it's done. So you slide that behind the two of these, tie a knot in it. This is where you could do with having at least 10 hands, but it can be done. I did it the last time. So hold them, tie your knot, hold them right up and tie your knot really quite tight as you can, and that will hold them in position like that. And then tie a bow. Here we go again. I can never do this on camera. You never know, might work. Yay!
Michelle says she sometimes uses gesso.
Yeah.
A very thin layer of clear gesso to take away the shine.
Absolutely. Was that Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good advice.
very good advice. Very, very good advice. Gesso is a pretty wonderful thing, actually. But if you we'll come on to gesso at some stage. I know we will. So that's quite tight. It's tied in. If you're thinking that it's not perhaps as... Oh, what am I trying to say? If you think it might come off, glue it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Fabri-Tac just into there, just under there. And just hold that down for a second, just so it's safe and secure. And I never have to worry about it coming off ever again. Right, can I just ask you, when you've finished this, do you want a really quick little project, the next bit of this, or do you want to go lie down in a darkened room? If you want another project, just say yes, and I'll carry on. If you don't, I completely understand, and I'll go off and watch the cricket. You could also glue those two down if you want, but I think we're all right like that. Okay, so that goes into that pocket that we folded the other way, you remember? So you can see those butterflies, and that's pretty. This one comes out over there like that. This one folds in there like that. And then I just tied it up with a little bit of sort of, I don't know, what's that, inch wide satin ribbon. You could use sari silk, you could use thread, twine. Any twine would look nice, I think. I like twine.
Michelle says yes, please. Maureen says yes. Maureen says please. And Jen says yes.
Okay. It's only a quick one, but
Marie says yes. Ilda says yes. Thanks for the offer.
So there we are. We have completed that. At least we have succeeded in doing something. So let's get this page. It's got it.
Yes, if you're up for it, and Deborah says that would be nice.
Oh, well, yeah, come on then. Let's just do it, eh? So that's... Now, this on its own, I really think is a lovely little rack for someone. If you wanted to put something on the back, by all means, do. I just wanted it to sit flat into there, so I didn't want to put anything on the back, but it's there to be decorated if you want to. So that's going to fit into our pocket, along with the envelope, and along with what I'm going to show you now. So it's beginning to look quite nice, isn't it? Quite nice and full and juicy. Juicy Lucy. So that's that. We've done that. Completed that. So the next thing in my next basket, down. I'm so impressed with myself. Is this. I showed it to you yesterday, then promptly lost it, but it's here. And it's kind of a double tag thing. Seems to be all the rage at the moment. But this is sort of our take on it, if you like. And I've got the tag. That's going to be the main tag. This is the small tag, which is just, it comes with the set. And I just embossed it with the one and only embossing plate I've got, which is nice. It's perfect for... And look at this. Would you look at what I've got in my basket? I have got my die cuts. Come on, guys. Give me a round of applause. I have a little paper flower because I might want to use it, or I might want to use the butterfly that we use for everything. I've got some satin trimmed voile ribbon, 3 little dewberries, and a brad. So there you go. So just in case, I did have another project prepared. But let's not go there, right? So first thing to do is back your big journaling card and your small one. Need both of them backed. So where's my paper? Here we go. I'm going to do this at normal time. I'm not going to race through it because that's when accidents happen. I don't mean accidents like I take my finger off. I just mean glue the wrong thing to the wrong thing. So like I said to you before, just cut round your shape, your tag, your envelope, whatever it is.
You've been applauding you on the
Thank you. On the fact that I had another one organised.
You were so prepared.
No, it's not like me. I've just been watching other people's videos and by comparison they're so prepared. So I thought I'd give it a go today and it's worked quite well, I think.
I feel sometimes they're too prepared, that they miss out vital steps.
Yeah, I do think that there's an element of dithering goes into any junk journal page. And I don't like it when, exactly what I'm going to do now. You know, this is a copy of this, let's do this, this and this. I think sometimes it's quite nice to have a bit of a dither. Glue stick is fine for this, sticking paper to paper. I use kitchen towel, as you see, to do my gluing of my glue stick on, because you get it round the edge, and if you do that on your board, you end up with a really sticky mess on your board. And if you do it on the paper that you're doing it on, the glue comes out up beyond that edge and it ends up sticky as well. So I just sort of sacrifice one piece of kitchen towel, usually it's just one piece per project to be honest, for stamping on, for gluing on, that sort of thing. And it just keeps everything else clean and tidy. Well, unsticky really more than anything. Will that fit along there? No. So there we are, pop them on. And I often find that just putting pressure on from behind makes them flatter. Sometimes they have a propensity to curl up when they're dry, but if you do that, they kind of dry flatter. Oh, thanks Jen, thanks Sammy. That's the only two comments I saw. I haven't picked you two out for any other reason than that. You're not on the naughty step. So, I'm sure you lot are better at this than I am. You'd think the amount of things that I've cut out I'd be quite good at fussy cutting, but I'm just not. Cutting even round things would be helpful. It's actually quite a nice day here today. I mean, I've been seeing on the forecast that down south it's been really, really hot. It hasn't been so with us, I can tell you. Quite the opposite, in fact.
18 it is.
18 it is here.
Middle of summer.
And we're whooping because it's quite a nice day. Previously, I think yesterday was 15, was it? Might have been 16, but it's just cold. You definitely need your cardi on in the house. Have we got anybody on from Australia? Wonder what the weather's doing there, because it's midwinter there, I guess.
Still probably warmer than here.
Well, it will be up the top, won't it? Because it's, I imagine. I'm imagining, I've never been to Australia. Right, then, look at that. Lovely jubbly. Right, now I've lost. Have I lost anything? No, I haven't lost anything. Just prematurely losing stuff here. Now I'm just going to have to ink the sides of this because I can see the white paper and I really don't like that.
Do you not want to put the brad in before you?
Before I what? Before I what?
Before you put the back on that.
Oh, I did, yeah. That's what you get for getting your pop. Yeah, what I wanted to do was put the brad in first before I put the back on my journaling card. but I forgot. What I should have done is put the brad through there and through this card, flattened it out, and then put the back on. And that way then it would be like that, and you wouldn't see the back of the brad. That isn't going to happen now because I've already got my paper on. I could put another piece of paper over it. In fact, I will, because I can't live with it like that.
Oh, you could cut a circle out, of course.
I could cut a circle out, but so where's my brad? So I need to make a little hole.
Ross says she's at 28 degrees.
28, that is hot, isn't it?
And they're having a heat wave in the eastern part of the USA, says Deborah. And Jen said it's in the high 80s and humid. Ugh.
Oh, I could do just a bit of it though, you know what I mean? You get fed up when it's always cold and miserable. Right, so that's my holes for my brad. I haven't got very many brads, so I just had to work with what I had. So this is this sort of purple flower thing. And pop it through. Squish it out. That way. So I still want there to be a bit of movement on there, like that. Actually, that doesn't look so bad. It's a bit twee, it's a bit passé. And I really hate that. I hate the fact that you can see that. It looks nasty. Looks unprofessional. So I'm going to put glue all over this again, and not the little one now. Get in. I'd like to say I make these mistakes so you don't have to. But, you know, that's not true. I just forgot. Although it does sound good when people say that. But it would be a lie. It's getting a bit overused, that piece of kitchen towel. So right, I'm just sticking it on again. Sorry guys, I'm very sorry. Is Shaz on today?
I haven't seen her. Nothing to say.
Right, there we go. Make sure we've got that stuck everywhere. Everything's sticking to me because I've got sticky fingers. That's the bit that you really want to make sure is stuck, because the back of the brad makes the paper sort of kick up, so it's harder to stick. So just bone fold it all the way around. Make sure that you've got good contact there. I'll cut that out, and then I'm happy with that then. It'll just make the tag a bit thicker, which actually is not, you know, it's not the worst thing that could happen to us. A lot of people make their tags from, you know, cardboard, food packaging, cereal boxes, that sort of thing. I do like thick tags. I think they have their place, but I don't think they all need to be that thick.
Lynn says that nail varnish works well on brads to change the colour. Does
it? I hadn't thought of that.
That's a good idea.
That is a really good idea, because it's like enamelling them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly that. And of course some of these acrylic nail varnishes these days are very tough, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Tip of the day.
And Jen says you could add a little bling to the flower brad. Winky face.
Yeah, I could. Because the one that I used on the other one was quite blingy, but I only had one of those, apparently.
She's bling obsessed.
She's blinking obsessed. No, she likes a bit of bling, does Jen? I could, Jen. I could do that, you know. I don't think I'm going to, though. This is just a little bit loose for my liking, so I just need something to Like a whack whack?
You mean like a hammer?
Like a, yeah.
That's what normal people call it.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm just, close your ears a minute, I'm just going to give this a bit of a whack. Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Yeah, that's better. Still moves, but it's not spinning around like the woman in The Exorcist's head. I don't know why I just thought of that. It's quite funny. Right, come on, get a grip. So the first thing that goes on here is our this. It's satin edged voile ribbon. It's really pretty. Oh, blimey, that's something else I should have put on before the backing as well. Never mind. Never mind, never mind. I'm going to use my double-sided and put one bit about there.
Deborah says, wow, you have a hammer handy.
I know. Right, so I just need to see where to put this other strip of double-sided. That's going there. So...
Maureen says a whack whack made my day. Laughy face.
Well, it's what it does, isn't it? It's its job. Right, so that's where I need my next bit of double-sided. Along there. Like so. And because I can't stick it to the back and put backing over it, because I've already got an additional backing, for heaven's sake, I'm just going to take a little bit and put it down there, because I fear it might be slightly free stuff actually. That's just a bit too big. I'm just going to
put the two bits off first. You can just put it straight down.
That's what I'm going to do. Let's take that off there. Let's put that there now. And another little bit for the other end.
And Jen says she's never going to call it anything else but the whack whack.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me. It is indeed a whack whack. Just got a little bit sticking out there, and it's just going to annoy us, you know, so we'll just get rid of it.
You get different types. You get sledge whack whacks, a claw whack whack, a ball peen whack whack.
You're just making it unnecessarily complicated. But they all end in whack whack, don't they? Because ultimately that is what they do. They whack things. Just take these bits of tape off, then we'll get our voile on there. That wants to come off as a whole. Right, there we are. So let's pop this on. Let's pop it on the bottom first and let it find its level there at the top. It's not good stuff to try and stretch this. It goes out of shape really easily. But it is nice. I mean, look how wasteful I'm being, but they go in my snippets box. But it is really nice thing for. I've no idea why I bought it, what project that could possibly have been, but I do really like it.
Lynn says with headaches and stuff, she's always losing her words. Her grandson says it's like playing a game of charades.
Well, Lynn, I really empathise with you there, because I too have that problem. And I know that everybody's sort of rolling their eyes going, yeah, she's got that problem. She does her life. She never makes a mistake. But I can assure you, when my adrenaline levels aren't up like this, and I'm just talking to Mr. Fix-It, I say the most ridiculous things, not even words, to be honest with you. So I empathise with you totally. it generally makes me laugh, but you know, sooner or later I know that it'll come out when I'm in company that I don't want it to come out with. However, it is what it is, eh? So let's go on with our die cuts.
And Jen says it's handy when Mr. F gets out of hand.
The whack whack.
The whack whack, yeah.
I wouldn't take the whack whack to him.
Don't give her ideas, please.
So I've allowed myself this nice selection of die cuts here that I've laid out. I quite like this long thin one, actually. And I also like that one. So I wonder if I could get away with those two on that side. Maybe bring that down a little bit, down to there. Yeah, I think that's nice. Let's do that. Let's just cut that one off.
You must have a selection of whack whacks for jewellery making.
Oh yeah, she makes jewellery, doesn't she?
Yeah, she must have a good range of whack whacks.
I don't know, she's quiet. Is she still on?
She was there very recently. She says, I like your double tag.
Ah. Maybe she just thinks you're just being childish. No, she's not like that, Hilda. She's got an amazingly good sense of humour. Very witty woman. Droll.
Jen thinks it's a rubber mallet, so she'll be totally alright using it on me.
Jen, really? Has he done anything to upset you that I don't know about? That you're desperate for him to get the whack whack treatment? The whack whack treatment. So there we are. I mean, really, you know, you can use any colour you like for this. I'm using all similar tones of lilacs and the like, but you can jazz yours up. I'm a bit staid when it comes to colour choices, I guess. I like pink, largely. And I love green. That chartreuse green I just adore. So I'm putting that there, and that comes right up to the top, which is lovely. So there we are. I'm going to spin that like that. On this one, we've just got the one, and it's this one, and I quite like that. So I think that's what I'm going to put there. I don't want that to stick to there. Please don't stick. So it's going to go there. So it just needs a little bit trimmed off the bottom of the stem. I appreciate watching me glue these things. It's a bit tedious. Sorry about that.
Hilda says she uses a rawhide mallet.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't damage the metal, does it?
Well, I don't know why you're asking me. I just don't know. I'm not really up on these things, as you can tell. I mean, I call it a whack whack, for heaven's sake. Right, let's get this stuck down. So I don't want the other side to stick to the back of that label tag. Come in a bit, and then round at the top. There we go. So that's all our die cuts on. I think it looks pretty, actually. You know, some things you do and you think, yeah, that it's okay. But this I actually think looks really pretty. I love these bluebells and whatever. Let's just check that that hasn't stuck. No, we're still doing all right, still going round. Excellent. So on here then now, we've just got a little bit, it's just a mini collage and it's got these 3 flowers. They come in, you buy it by the yard, trim by the yard. I've got them in blue and I've got them in this purpley colour. And then the question is, do I want a butterfly there? Move that across a little bit. Which I have used these before on this project, so it would be kind of in keeping. But I've also got that, and I actually really quite like that. Let's just bring this down. See what the story is. Yeah, I'd have to move that right down to there, which is fine. That's all right. But this butterfly, I think, might be a bit too big. Yeah.
It's just inquiring how many pages we have for the collaborative journal. About
Four, I think, 4.
But there's more on the way.
People keep assuring me there's more on the way. I hope so. I'm going to use this this flower because it's going to hinder this less. I did have smaller ones of these, but I've used them all up, so I'll have to print some more out. So that's what's going to happen. So with Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Tac, you need quite a big blob, because this cotton-y stuff, whatever it is, just absorbs it like mad. And then you go back and it's loose. So really go to town on the glue of this. That's going there, so they need to start about there. Oh, come back, out there. Okay, so they should stick, I'm hoping. Just, you know, you need to give them a little minute or two. And look at this, there's a pin attached to my finger, as if by magic. And this needs to just go down as far into that corner as it can. So I'm going to just glue the centre in a little tiny bit on the ridge of each petal. Place it down really at the edge, because otherwise that swing tab is not going to be able to swing. Just hold that down for a sec. I think we'll be all right. I think in the fullness of time that'll get the idea that it's supposed to stick to there. And then, Jen, guess what happens? Out comes the bling. Where are we? Hotbox. That's my glue and my stones. Right, well these, as I tell you, you've seen these before, these are crystals. This in here is Aurora Borealis Swarovski, is that how you say it? Crystals, and they really are, well, they're big for one thing, but boy are they blingy. I don't know if you can you see them shimmering, and so they're really blingy. But I don't know if that's just going to be too big and kind of silly really to go in there. Looks lovely, Mr. F says, so that's where it's going. It's definitely too big, Jen. I can't get that on there. That's just daft. Do you think? What do you think, Mr. F? It's a bit big, isn't it?
No.
No? Should I put it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Michelle says she loves those, and Jen says, "Oh, I need me sunglasses." They're genuine Swarovski ones, aren't they? So
yeah,
they're not the cheapest thing in the world.
No, they're not by any stretch. But they are cheap if you do like we do and never use them.
True.
In fact, Jen, if it wasn't for you, I'm blaming you. You're getting the entire blame for this. I won't be using them at all now. I'm just going to take them off and put a bit of this. They are so bright and shiny. They're gorgeous. Let's put more than I normally do because it's a more than normal size. I'll just put one on at a time. Drop that in there. And one on here. Wish I had slightly smaller ones. Where's my lid gone? My lid. I don't know where my lid's gone. I think I just knocked it on the floor. That just goes there centrally. I need to find my lid and my glue.
Can't see it.
Let me just stick a pin in then for the intro.
Is it a big lid, is it? Or?
It's a white, looks like a toothpaste lid.
I can't see it.
No?
You sure it's on the floor?
It's a blinking craft snatcher. I just thought I heard it go on the floor.
Yeah, it's underneath the chair.
Oh, okay. I manfully stuck a pin in. That was clever, wasn't it, really?
Yep.
Thank you. Right, so sorry about that little dilemma. So there we are, we've blinged it up. We have finished today that one belongs. So I can't really do much with these because these won't be dry quite yet. So I can't pop it into there. But that's the tag, the 2-tag tag. With the die cuts and the blah-de-blah and the bling and everything. This you watched me make from start to finish. It's a lovely little rack. It's just begging to be sent to somebody, really. And this envelope, which we made yesterday out of tracing paper, which we put through the Sizzix with an embossing folder. So that's everything that's complete now for there. Well, this needs a journaling card in it. Apart from that, we're all done and dusted. So I think we've got on quite well today. The next time we'll be doing, let's put that in, let's put that in. So that's all the things for there. We've still got the front page to do, which is the envelope flip. It's not as difficult as it looks, that, so don't be put off by that. And then we've got this one, which is an envelope with some tags in it. So that's an easy peasy one. So hopefully next time we'll get that done and the front. And then we'll have to consider what we're going to put on the back and whether we think it needs a cover or not. However, that will be, I'm sorry to start this project because actually I thought it was going to be finished much quicker than this. I foolishly thought it was a weekend long project. But I will, as I said, through the week, yikes, 3-in-1 has gone seized up. It's all right now. Yeah, through the week I will do a video or a live, more than likely, about what you do with, how you start, how you make a start, how you decide what's going to go where, etc., etc. And so the real beginners will have a clue what to do. So I appreciate that for most of you it's not going to be really that exciting. You can watch me make mistakes, I suppose. Excuse me, it depends how much of a sadist you are. I'd just like to thank everybody who has supported this channel and my Facebook page, which is called Junk Journal Group. There are a lot of you that behind the scenes actually support us quite a lot, and I'm really grateful for all of that. As you know, we aren't doing this to make a profit, which is a good job. But craft stuff is expensive, and so I really appreciate the help that we get from you all. Thank you very much. And I guess that's it until the middle of the week when I'll see you then. So take care, please, and happy crafting. And don't forget, if you see the craft snatcher Just attack him with a whack whack. Bye.